Think Saksha, where every clue begins with learning. Hello everyone, my name is Sandhya Rathi and I am your forensic science educator at Think Saksha. Today we will learn about forensic science question document examination. And under this video we will be learning few of the topics such as its introduction, its history and the types of documents which are examined under forensic science. So let's quickly dive into the video. First of all, we will learn about a document. What is document and its definition? The word document is a vast topic that covers writing with any material. Any material we can say like pencil, pen, ink or any object writing on with any material on any object such as paper, engraving on metal, the floor, leaves, trees or a stone, even on engraving that we see on our pens or the customization that we see nowadays, as well as chart map, photographed matter, lithographed. Lithographed means writing on the road or the solid surface such as a cemented floor or anything like that, as well as chart map, a plan. It may be typewritten, it may be printed such as newspaper, or in if we talk about the old time we have seen like the written documents they used to write on leaves. The tribal people or the ancient people, they used to write on the leaves. After that they used to write on the bark of the wood. Or when we talk about the kings time of where the kings were there in India or anywhere else, they used to mark their victory or whatever they did special, they used to write it on a stone. So that too is a recorded document. Moving forward, now we come upon what are the legal definitions of a document. It is given in two acts. First of all, the Indian Evidence Act, and secondly, it is given in Indian Penal Code. So we will see both of them and we'll notice what are the differences between the both of the definitions that are given. See, the sections written over here are very important from exam point of view as well as a knowledge point of view. If you are a forensic science student, you must know under which section what is written and what definitions come under which section. So for Indian Evidence Act, according to the section 3 of Indian Evidence Act of 1872, a document may be defined as: document means any matter expressed or described upon any substance, मतलब कि किसी भी substance पे, वो कोई भी surface पे हो सकता है, by means of letters, figures or marks. Letters, figures और marks means लेटर्स, फिगर्स और मार्क्स का यूज़ करके किसी भी सब्सटेंस पे जब हम लोगों ने अपना एक्सप्रेस किया है या कुछ भी चीज़ लिखी गई है उस पे, बाय मीन्स ऑफ, बाय वन ऑफ दोज मीन्स इंटेंडेड टू बी यूज्ड और विच मे बी यूज्ड फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ रिकॉर्डिंग. यहाँ पे हम क्या कर रहे हैं? रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हैं, अपना एक्सप्रेशन रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हैं किसी भी चीज़ से लिख के. इन टर्म्स ऑफ लेटर्स में हो सकता है वो कुछ भी लिखा हुआ, फिगर्स यूज़ हो सकते हैं, मार्क्स हो सकते हैं. सो हम किसी भी चीज़ को यूज़ करके जब लिख रहे हैं एक चीज़ पे, उसको रिकॉर्ड करने के पर्पज़ से. सो इंडियन एविडेंस एक्ट हमें ये बताता है डॉक्यूमेंट के बारे में. नाउ कमिंग टू सेक्शन 29 ऑफ इंडियन पीनल कोड. This defines a document as follows. The word document denotes any matter expressed or described upon any substance by means of letters, figures, marks, by one or more than one of those means intended to be used. Up we saw that the definition over here is still the same. There is no change in both of the definitions till now. Now further, or which may be used as evidence. here comes the word evidence of that matter. What we saw in Indian Evidence Act was it was used for recording matter, and under Indian Penal Code it is stated that it is used as an evidence also. So here are the two legal definitions. You must remember the sections and of which section, which act it is from, and under which section or which act it is written. Moving forward, now we have seen about documents. Now the question is, what is a cushioned document? What do we understand by the term cushioned? Means anything which is under question, like which we are not sure about. Is it authentic? Is it its integrity is stable, or whatsoever reason it is to question anything. Like I can question you, you can question me. Is the fact which I'm telling you, is it even true? Question mark. So any document which is under question is a questioned document. Let's see the definition of it. A questioned document is a document whose authenticity is challenged on a number of grounds, or a document or a part of document become a questioned document when its source of origin is doubtful. Source of origin is doubtful under question. Such documents are known as disputed or contested documents. So what we saw is, if any document is under questions, means we don't know the origin of the source of the document, or is the document written by me or somebody else, and it might be an anonymous letter that you don't know of who sent you the letter. It can be anything which is under question, anything that puts a doubt in your mind that it is not genuine. That is a questioned document. It might be intuitive, and there are some factual points that we are gonna see further to see how we question a document or how we analyze that this is suspicious. So let's see. First of all, crucial evidences can be extracted from documents in criminal and civil investigations. Whenever we go for a crime scene investigation, when we go to find evidences, one of the major important evidence is a document. It can be anything. It can be a diary, a personal diary, or a journal. It can be newspaper. It can be the identity cards, passports, or bank statement, receipts, or anything in its wallet. A currency note, in fact, is a question document if it is not genuine, of course, etc. and etc. In case of suicides also, suicidal note is a document that is used as an evidence for investigation purposes. So let's see. First of all, the point is, suicide notes, was it genuinely written by the deceased or forged by a perpetrator or to conceal a crime? Was it written by the person who committed suicide, or was it a planned murder and the murderer wrote it to make it seem like an suicide? Bank robbery notes, will or legal documents, have they been tempered, or they have been torn, or they are manipulated? If a check, I give you a check, you manipulated the digits, making it 1000 to look like a 9000 check, so that is an alteration made by you, and it is a questioned document because it is not genuine. Of course, its authenticity and integrity has been hindered by somebody else, so it is a questioned document. Now see, suicide notes. Suicide notes are a question document. Invoices or MOUs created by a company is a question document. Currency notes are a document. The will, testimony, checks, everything, property papers, everything comes under a question document if its authenticity is in question. Now let's talk about history of questioned documents, where it began from. So it began from 13th century, the time of Titus and Anthony. During this time, jurists established some protocols to identify forgery, and they also established a manner in which forgeries should be detected. So they somewhat began like searching for documents, and they got an idea of a questioned document in 3rd century. Then came Justinian Code in 539 AD. This code established some guidelines for handwriting comparison. Under this, a judge would appoint a skilled expert who knew about handwriting comparisons and would be very perfect in analyzing is the handwriting written by a person same or not. So he would analyze the question writing and would compare it with the suspected writing, and then he gave his testimony as to the authenticity of the questioned text. Then in US 1887, the case came up, Bell versus Brewster. In this case, Supreme Court of Ohio finally realized the importance of handwriting when it was used to identify a person. In this case, a person was identified using the handwriting of a person and matching it with the others or questioned writing. Now, now came the Daniel Titus Ames. He was a QD expert, means questioned document expert, and he published a book, Ames on Forgery, in which he wrote about what is questioned documents, how are they analyzed, how they can be helpful in criminal investigations, and what can be the types or what a person should look when he is analyzing a questioned document. So he gave a basic idea of questioned document. Now, who pursued it further was Albert Sherman Osborn. Now, he is very famous personality of forensic question document examination. He is very important for question document, as he is the father of question documents. Now you know why he is important. He published his book named Question Documents and gave all the details. He studied very hard for it, and to he wanted to establish a proper guideline for further use, so as no confusion is to be made or no wrong findings can be done. So he published a book named Questioned Documents, and the second edition of the book was published in 1929. Then he also established American Society of Questioned Document Examiners in 1942. Then in 1977, American Board of Forensic Science Forensic Document Examiners was also established. In 1904, when British government of Bengal required identification of secret handwriting on the document that was recovered from the Indian independence movements, like it was some secret writing, secret talk that one independence reformer sent to the other, and it was caught by the British government, so they needed it to be identified and what was written in that secret handwriting. So for that, they hired Mr. C.R. Hardless and appointed him as the post of government handwriting expert of Bengal in 1904. Then this government examiners of question document was shifted to Shimla in 1906, and then it was also established in Kolkata in 1964, and then in Hyderabad in 1968. So this was the total history of questioned documents. In this, the most important point is who is the father of question document? That is Albert Osborn, Albert Sherman Osborn. Now, coming to the types of questioned documents. What are the general category or what are the general documents that we can possibly find in the crime scene and collect it as a evidence to check or to analyze, which might help us catch the suspect. So in this, it comes bank drafts, checks. Checks can be obliterated. It can be edited as to change the amount of the money, or the signatures can be forged. Then wills. A greedy son might edit something on a will if the father died, or anybody who wrote the will died, and their son have a dispute now as to who will have the more property, or who will have more of the stuff of the belongings of a deceased person. So they might edit or add something, add a line in between, and anything can be done to a document. Then coming to photocopied documents, agreements, receipts, ID cards. A person can steal an identity card of a person and he can paste his photograph on it representing some other person. So this is a quotient document. Coming to passports, we have seen multiple examples of forged passports when a person is moving from one country to another country illegally. They use fake passports, fake identity cards for that purpose. Currency notes, then stamp papers, type letters, licenses, suicide notes. We have studied in very first slide that suicide note is very important document in case of suicide. If person genuinely committed a suicide or not, he if he wrote a suicide letter, so was it really written by the person who committed the suicide, or it was a pre-planned murder and the suspect or the person who murdered him wrote it and kept it on the table to give a different direction to a criminal case. Other category is something that is burned intentionally or accidentally. It might be any burned document, charred document, or the shredded documents, even the intended documents. Like when we write with pressure on a paper, the indentation marks is left behind on the other paper, the paper behind it. So we can also use that as a evidence to see if somebody wrote something on a paper then tore it from between so as to hide it or to do anything intentional with the paper. We can check for indentation marks behind that paper. So yes, this was it for today's video. We'll talk about other topics such as tools, the examination of a question document, how a document is collected, then examined, what are the tools used for it, and many more things in it. So that was it. Thank you. Hope you liked it. If you understand, please do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Bye bye.